We all have stories. Stories inspired by culture, competition, creativity. Stories show our humanity. They inspire us to greatness and remind us to be humble. Stories connect us to our communities and the rest of the world. We are the Chutta people, and these are our stories. See and share them at togetherwe'remore.com.
It's called Hollywood. Lights, camera, action. Hollywood Brown. CD Lamb still running. Into corner. CD for the TD.
People don't know what it is to be champions. Oklahoma invented it.
Welcome to Through the Keyhole. I am the only host available for the podcast this week. And as always, we want to make sure we're maintaining our schedule and maintaining content going out to the wonderful Through the Keyhole listeners, Patreon subscribers, everyone who supports us, family, friends, and anyone, stalkers, maybe anyone who wants to hit us up and have a good time here. I do want to say thank you, everyone, for supporting us as you always have. And before we really get into it, let's do what we have to do and support the case of commerce. So thank you so much to our title exclusive presenting partner, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. They sponsor Through the Keyhole via the Together or More campaign. That's part of my daily day job, is working on that campaign. This month, we're highlighting a wonderful Choctaw tribe member named Colleen Thurston out of the Tulsa area. She has won an Emmy for some of her short filmmaking. So go check that out over on togetherormore.com and go listen to her story, see and share our stories on togetherormore.com. And then also, I'm the only one here today, right? So when someone says, hey, who's going to carry the boats? That's me. I'm the one carrying the boats, and to get ready to carry the boats, you too need to do that by going to Kaizen Performance over there and get a workout going on. Anytime I'm in Norman, I stop up there to work out. It's not a Globo gym. It's not like a Gym Bro gym. You have space. You've got time. There's wonderful trainers. Go check them out over there in the Kaizen Performance. Run into Brady. He's there all the time, getting unbelievably jacked on that side. But like I said, we are a one-man show today, a solo show today. So live on the live on YouTube, as well as this will be uploaded to all your YouTube stuff. Hey. So let's get into it. This will be a short show because I don't have anybody to bounce stuff off of, but I'll do my best to kind of talk about this stuff as I knowledgeably can and kind of get going from that way. So first point of topic is Owen Heineke was denied eligibility via the NCAA. I read that a little like Anchorman, but he is denied at this point in time. If you read his tweets and stuff, it seems like he is going to be moving on with his career. I've seen a couple of mock drafts have him going in the 6th round, which is pretty cool on that side. Hey, Jimmy Satterfield over there on YouTube. Remember, if you join us on Patreon or on the YouTube stuff, you can comment. I will respond. We will respond live in there. But Owen seems to be moving on his way. He has a chance, I think February the 12th is either a cutoff date, or maybe that was just with Trinidad over there in Ole Miss. That's a date I know they're hanging on that side for judge cases. But Oklahoma will lose currently a linebacker responsible for 74 total tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Extremely productive, extremely energetic, and chaotic in that defensive scheme, causing issues and problems for Oklahoma opponents as they have the football. I won't lie to you. This is something that kind of hits Oklahoma in a tough spot when the linebacker room is pretty thin on that side. Like, what is Oklahoma going to do there? Obviously, a number one portal target seems to be Cole Sullivan from Michigan. Oklahoma gets him, but they only get one linebacker. That they probably got a couple other hooks out, a couple other nets out there waiting to see what happens. But right now, Oklahoma's only able to portal in one guy. And so the assumption I'm making is that you got a lot of young pups who are going to grow up, young pups who've been in the program and going to go from that side. that is something that is more of a you're trusting Brent, you're trusting the defense, you're trusting the scheme. And to be honest with you, that's something that's a little more of an old school college football, right? So in the olden times, your juniors and seniors and redshirt sophomores, they would go on. And then the next guy would come up and, unless you're really tapped in, you don't know who the second string guy is or the third string guy is. But that they show up next year and then they have a chance to play for a couple years and kind of go from that side. So either it is a net negative, and Oklahoma did a swing and a miss on a couple of linebacker opportunities via the portal, or we have an old school depth situation for Oklahoma as we move forward into 2026 season. Now, Owen in particular, is this a fair ruling via the NCAA? I don't think so. I don't think this is fair at all. And that's just not me just being an Oklahoma homer. Obviously, I'm on the podcast talking about Oklahoma every single week. During the season, I host 3 podcasts a week. Then I also try to do a tape review and also try to do power rankings for Oklahoma. So obviously, crimson shaded glasses on that side of it. But when you've got players who are entering 6th, 7th seasons getting in there, it does seem odd Owen isn't able to retroactively get a red shirt or retroactively get one of those the lacrosse season classified in a way that would allow him to have another year on there. So, I mean, he's won't get his full 5 for 5 in football. If you've seen any of the content that Owen has put out, most of his stuff has been a very wholesome route on this, right? He's talking about wanting a chance to be in the OU brotherhood for one more year, right? Have a chance to build something special, have a chance to push Oklahoma a little bit further than they went last year when they went 10-2, hosted a playoff game before the second half collapse against Alabama. And all that, from a fan perspective, sounds really good because you don't want a guy who's saying, I'm only in this for the money. I need this for the money. XYZ on that side. I want to expand upon my opportunities to go from there. You love to hear a guy saying, I'm in this for the team. I'm in this for that side. But I will say from a legal perspective, saying I want to hang out with my friends for one more year, that's kind of hard to have a, what's that called? A remedy around that side. Now, if the legal waiver or the driving factor was something of wanting to have another chance to make up for a lost year of NIL earning potential, it gets really tricky for the NCAA at this point in time in this legal atmosphere to waive those, right? To dismiss those waivers because they are getting just ramsacked in the legal counsel and legal realm right now when it comes to denying earning potential via NIL equivalent seasons on that side of it. We've seen that a lot with the Vanderbilt quarterback and a couple other players who are now extending, like I said earlier, to start the segment off up to 6 and 7 years. So I'm not for sure what Owen did on behind the scenes, how he was moving from that side, but moving something that was more NIL driven may have a chance to open the door a little bit more on there. But it's an unfair ruling. The NCAA is a bunch of communists keeping Owen from having a chance to play one more year for University of Oklahoma and hoping Oklahoma's defense take one more step forward on that side. So we have a tough situation there for Owen, but we move on because Brent Venables and the staff has done everything you can and has bought, in my opinion, a ton of leeway and a ton of credit. I think if you're going to put some clout on the name, you're going to put some respect on the name. Brent Venables has done that. You have to kind of trust it from that side. So, like I was saying, it's looking like you'll have a youth movement in the linebacker room, but it's not something I feel totally afraid about at this point in time. Jay Valai moves on from the OU. University of Oklahoma loses their cornerback coach. Now, rumored there for a while to be going to Notre Dame. It does seem to be, according to Notre Dame sources, he overplayed his hand. Seemed to be maybe asking for more defensive coordinator control at Notre Dame. Ends up going to the NFL, to the Buffalo Bills. So he just really wanted to get somewhere north. He wanted some nice powdery snow. He gets one icy snowstorm and says, I am out of here. Heads up north. But no, joining up with a former teammate from Wisconsin, John, I think it was John, yeah, Linehard, to join that staff. He gets a chance to go to NFL, and you never want to diminish college coaches' ability to go to the NFL or diminish the opportunity they have to promote their career and promote their lifestyle in that way. So good for Jay. What does this mean for Oklahoma, though? Now, so Oklahoma's down a cornerback coach, obviously. They do have two, I'm going to call them stud corners, both of them undersized, obviously, but two stud corners in Eli and Courtney. Eli Bowen, Courtney Guillory. If you got that spot kind of locked up, that the next guy who comes in, if it's someone internally or if it's somebody who has an ability to grow into it a little bit, like you're hiring someone from a lower level up, you at least have a very good foundation. You don't have to worry about, okay, do we go get a coach, hopes he brings over a couple of guys to get us in a spot, like what happened with Oklahoma with Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer last year, where it's like, not only are we looking for a coordinator, but we also need him to bring a quarterback because we don't have anything. Oklahoma's not in that position. They do have two right there. They went and got Dakota Fields from the portal. Again, I think Brady had mentioned he expects him to be his breakout player from the portal on the defensive side as a third down or a third defensive back for Oklahoma to play that nickel spot or give a chance to push in Courtney or Eli into the slot when they go to the three cornerback look. So whoever comes and stops in for Oklahoma is going to have a very, very good foundation for the 2026 season. But Oklahoma does have a gap to fill. I mean, Jay Valai, had 19 four-star and up commits over his time as a college football coach. He had a great eye for talent as a primary and secondary recruiter. He's able to bring that talent in. Now, with Jim Nagy, you may not need someone with just that overly strong recruiting potential because you've got the scouting department, you've got the recruiting department, and you've got the GM really dialed in to talent retention and talent acquisition. But that said, it doesn't hurt to have someone on the actual coaching staff who knows how to pull some people in. So where does Oklahoma turn to next? The two names I've heard are Dom Franks, former OU player, coaches in Tulsa, and Ricky Hunley Jr. out of SMU. Obviously, there's familiarity with the location, and regionally, Tulsa's not far, and a former player. Britton Venables does seem to like the idea of people who were formerly connected with Oklahoma coming back. Hell, Oklahoma just period likes the idea of guys coming home, players coming home to give back to the university in a coaching role, advisor role on that side. So Dom would be an interesting name. It would be a jump up for him, right? It would be a jump up for Dom at that point in time. Ricky Hunley Jr. out of SMU, kind of a similar thing there. In Texas regionally, he doesn't have that much of a recruiting aspect to him. He's been at SMU for 4 years. 4 years. He'll be entering his fifth unless he comes over here. He's a cornerbacks coach and a co-defensive coordinator. That's something that might be a bit of a shakeup there. Dom does not have that co-defensive coordinator tag on him, but Ricky does. We all know this is Brent Venables' defense. He is the defensive coordinator, and that may have been one of the reasons why Jay left. He wanted to expand his actual chances at becoming defensive coordinator. We've seen this now 2 years in a row. Jimmy Satterfield over on Facebook who's watching us. Good shout out, Chip Viney out of Arizona. Again, another guy who potentially come home. This is a name. I'm going to come back to Ricky, but Chip's a name that I did hear via some talk and stuff like that. And again, I'm not too connected, but you hear some people and people are tossing names around, and I really laughed it off to be about it because he's a GA, then he's a recruiting analyst, recruiting assistant, and this is a name like in the 2015, 16, 17. Everyone's maybe even earlier too, but everyone's really is hyped up about this guy to be a coach because he's recruiting so well. We kind of see him as like a trump card for Oklahoma. Especially during that late stage Bob Stoops era, which is Brady's favorite time of Bob Stoops, seemed to be lagging on the recruiting side. Chip was like a breath of fresh air. I kind of scoffed at the idea. I then went and looked at some havoc rate numbers out of Arizona, and I will be completely corrected. Chip has done a very good job over Arizona. They're a very chaotic group in that defensive backfield. They get their hands on a lot of passes. They battle a lot of balls down. They capture some interceptions. They force turnovers on there. Has a very high havoc rate onto the defensive backfield. Was not what I was expecting. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought this was just a name of OU fans going, oh, remember this guy? Remember when this guy was here? But no, that is something to be very interesting. And then you would also have the recruiting side of it. So that could fill in some of Jay's recruiting chops that have been left on that side. It's not a name that I've heard from a serious aspect at this point in time, just to be honest with you. Ricky Hundley Jr., like I said, SMU, he's finished his 4th year over there, cornerbacks, co-defensive coordinator. Extremely good, helped them get to a playoff berth, helped them go 8-0 in 2024 in conference, the very first year. Very first year in the Power 4, Power 5 conference there, and done a very good job helping craft a defense that are going to top 25 out of SMU in the first year in that Power 4 stuff. Extremely good for them on that side. Extremely good coach. It does seem like also very strong in the defensive backs havoc rate, but the recruiting chops are not there. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I remember looking. I don't think he signed a prospect that's over a 3-star. Again, like I said, maybe with the recruiting staff and the scouting department, it isn't something that is that big of a deal. I will say I do have a name that I personally like. Just again, I'm looking through stats. I'm looking at havoc rate because it's something I think is very, very important to see this. Not only who they've coached, but how are they producing? What's the unit? What are those units doing while they're on the field and producing for these teams? And because most of the hires Brent Venables has done have had zero connections to Oklahoma, so that is something that could be something interesting on that side. So I'm going to toss a name out there that I haven't heard from anybody, but I think would be interesting hire would be Azar Abdul-Rahim, cornerbacks coach from Maryland. Fantastic recruiter for Maryland. Maryland does a fantastic job on, like I said, defensive back havoc rate. Would be a very, very good hire in my opinion. Not SMU. Strong ties to the Tidewater area and in SEC country. Would be a strong recruiter for Oklahoma to kind of fill in that good coach and good recruiter role, and has done it at a place to where you've got production because you're playing in the Big Ten, and you've got recruiting production because there's an equivalency somewhat there from Big Ten to the SEC. So I think that would be a pretty good job for Oklahoma. Any of the guys we named would be an elevation to those careers. You'd be grabbing somebody and kind of lift them up because Oklahoma is a top 5, top 3 program in college football. So anybody you hire is going to be elevated up at that point in time, unless you're catching somebody on the fall down. Now, I'm always a proponent of catching somebody on the way up. So I would rather Oklahoma go from that side. And you're also within a very, very strong defensive structure with a Brent Venables staff and team to where you don't really have to worry too much about it on that side. So, yeah, hit us up. Put a comment on Spotify and Apple. Comments on Twitter on a Keyhole Pod, or go check us out on keyholepod.com. Who do you think is the next defensive backs coach for Oklahoma? Who do you want it to be? Do we want Chip to come back? Jimmy wants Chip. Do you want Chip to come back? On that side. Let's have some fun on there. It'd be great. Oklahoma then also announces new coaching salaries. These guys are making more money than I will ever make in my life unless something magical happens. But you've got Ben Arbuckle now leading the charge with $1.5 million a year after producing the 90th overall offense. Hell yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I went into that, but I think Ben's very good. I'll be breaking down some of that tape in the offseason. I'm going to, over on patreon.com/throughthekeyhole, the best website on the internet, I'm going to be breaking down games 1 through 12. John Mateer, every time he played a game, every single snap he took and every single pass he threw, was it a good pass or a bad pass? Was it a good play, bad play? I'll be starting that in the coming weeks to kind of show that the Ben Arbuckle hate probably isn't all him on that side of it. Next, Bill Beanbo hitting at $1.2 million. He did take seems reportedly take a $50,000 pay cut on that side. Todd Bates, $1.15 million. Miguel Chavis getting into the $1 million range. Look at him, $1 million. DeMarco Murray, $863K. then you kind of go through the list on that side. Jason Witten entering into the coaching ranks at $675K. So good for him. Seems to be entering a bit high for a position coach on that side. And you've got some guys under there as well. And then Brent Venables getting back up to $8.65 million per year. That being from a season in which he donated $1 million of his salary to the NIL fund for Oklahoma. So last year, his salary hit the books for 7.5. This year, it's ballooned back up to $8.65 million. That happens when you make the playoffs. You don't have to sit there and feel that pressure of needing to donate $1 million. Now, coming off a 6-win season, you need to be doing something, but you've won the games and you've gone on from there. Overall, college football, you're seeing some stuff. You're seeing some shady stuff. You're seeing some bad stuff come out of Florida State. Gus Malzahn retires. Norvell says he's going to call the plays now. And you know what? If my job was on the line and that was it, and the guy who helped get me into this whole thing retired and pulled the rug out from under me, I'm going to probably pull what Brent Venables did and say, you know what? If this is it, I'm calling my plays. I'm going to handle it. I'm going to go from it. I want to do it myself. That said, seems like maybe FSU's just saving some money. They'll be running some sprints for the next 2 years as that buyout gets a little bit down on that side. Other stuff around the college football, Oklahoma is getting some good buzz, right? With if you see some way too early top 25s, way too early SEC rankings, I'm seeing they're mainly hitting around that 4th and 5th place within the conference. Now, if you remember, Oklahoma did make the playoffs, but I believe they finished 6th in the conference due to where those losses came for the 2 losses, because both their losses were in the SEC. So while they did make the playoff, they were actually a little bit lower than some of the other teams that finished in front of them. So finishing 4th or finishing 5th would be an improvement. Even then, you're still looking at like a 10-2 team and still finishing 5th in your conference. I mean, that's just where the conference is, and also kind of the unbalanced natures of the schedules on that side there. And then what I'm mainly seeing is Oklahoma being in the top 10 range for the top 25s moving forward. So let me know what you think OU should be in the SEC and on the top 25 on that side. For the 2026 season, again, this is a super early. We haven't even had a spring game yet, which Oklahoma is having, which is fantastic. But we're going to be handling it on that side. So, again, guys, I wanted to make sure. That we made sure that we had a chance to have a show going on. It's the first show of the 2026 year. I wanted a chance to not first show. First show February. Oh my God, I saw the 3rd and I freaked out. This is where I am right now with my job. It's so stressed. An entire month have gone by and I've totally missed it. But the first show of February, we are in the dredges of the offseason until spring game comes around, and then we have another little break on that side. So I want to say thank you guys for joining us. There's a short podcast on that side. If for some strange reason you have a wife or a girlfriend, or you're single, God bless you, on Valentine's Day, and you are around or in the McAllister area, right? In the McAllister area, come check me out as I run 50 miles on the Outlaw 100. I believe it's in Quinton, Oklahoma, on the Twin Mountains Jeep course. It's a Quinton, Oklahoma. It's a very rocky course on that side. Last year, it took me 15 hours to run 50 miles. But come check us out. My wife will be there. She's cooking the entire time for me, hanging out, have a good time. Jimmy, yes. If Oklahoma goes 9-3, could Oklahoma go 9-3 and get into the playoffs with a 9-game SEC schedule? It obviously depends on who they play, when those losses are, and how Oklahoma plays in the wins. Because I think Oklahoma's schedule is set up for them to be able to make it as a 10-2, because the 3 hardest games happen extremely early. You get Michigan, you get Georgia, you get Texas, and then you get a good runway of saying we can win out and make up for any losses that we've had and really build steam moving forward to really push the case there. And then the only teams you should be losing to at that point in time would be also very good teams who are also helping push Oklahoma's record at that point in time. I'm of the thing of saying 3 losses is going to be very difficult, especially with the new rules in place where you have 4 champions You have the group of 5. And then if Notre Dame is in the top 12, you've got them as well. So that means you've got 6 spots accounted for. And then you have the smattering of the other teams. I think any 9-3 team at this point in time should be left out. I would understand if we didn't leave it out on that side. The playoff committee has seemed to have strengthened up the qualifications to allow a 9-3 team to get in, because there wouldn't be 2 group of 5 teams at that point in time, by saying it's the 4 power force, and then it's the 1 group of 5 who doesn't even have to be a champion of a conference. So maybe that allows a 9-3 team. Last year it would have been Texas, or actually it wouldn't have been Texas, because Notre Dame would have gotten in at that point in time. But you could see something like that for moving forward, but it's not something I greatly foresee for Oklahoma. I do see Oklahoma going to 10-2. I do see Oklahoma winning down in Dallas. But no, that's it. Short podcast. Like I said, I wanted to keep a cadence going. I wanted you guys to hear the wonderful voice of Through the Keyhole. So thank you guys so much. Quick little update, almost kind of like a news minute of hitting the bullet points for everything. So we will be back with a little more of a regular schedule next week. Alan should be back. Matt should be back as an OU Thunder thing tonight. Brady, I don't think will be back. I think he has a couple weeks off for us. We do that. We let him out of the cage. We fed him. We only don't feed him during the season. That's when we need the takes going off. That's when we need the anger, right? The passion. But off season, we try to keep him fed. We take him for a walk, so he's doing good there, getting a chance to breathe some fresh air, touch some grass on that side. But like I said, guys, enjoy the week. Last night I went to sleep, had 2 inches of ice on my yard still. Woke up this morning, it's all gone. So I was able to go outside, touch some grass, enjoy the steam coming off my yard, and have a good walk outside at a good temperature. It does seem like it's going to get up in the 70s, so go enjoy yourself. Remember, guys, if you don't have it yet, you've got 10-ish days to get a gift. So go handle that. And if you absolutely need a gift, go to keyholepod.com/merch and go buy a shirt. Give it to the girl. She'll love it. Or if a girl, give it to the guy. She'll love it. She'll absolutely love it. So I'll sign off as I always do, for myself, for Alan, for Brady, for Matt, for the Chalktown Nation and Kaiser Performance, and for all the Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much. Boomer. And I guess I have to say sooner too. So sooner. Thanks, guys.